to our first PO of the unit. It's one of two. And this is the last objective that you will not be able to use a calculator on when you take tests. Okay, so all those conversion ones we did, fractions to decimals, percentages, 19, 20, 21, 22, no calculator on that. This one is the last one. You will not have a calculator. And the objective, it says find a percent of a whole number. Okay, so what that looks like here is I've got three situations. She took 20 shots and made 30% of them. How many shots did she make? Okay, you were finding a percentage of a whole number, 30% of 20, right? The test was worth 30 points and she got a 90%. How many did she get correct, right? A percentage, 90 of a whole number, 30. The bill at the restaurant was about $40. I left a 15% tip. How much was the tip? Again, a percentage of a whole. The goal is for you to be able to get the skills to quickly calculate these. Not have to pull out your phone, not have to use a calculator, but some methods that can help you here, right? So, we're going to look at the shot situation first. It says she took 20 shots and made 30% of them. How many shots did she make? Now, I've got three methods to show you. You don't need to use all of them, right? Whichever one makes the most sense to you, that's what I want you to use here. But the fractions method here, it involves converting that percentage to a fraction and then using a proportion, okay? So first, we're going to start by writing that 30% and saying, what is that as a fraction? That's why we went through all those conversion objectives, to help us here. Okay, what is 30% as a fraction? 30 over 100, right? Okay, that word percent means out of 100, so we can write it as 30 out of 100, right? Now, the second step here, Cameron, do you need something?
Yeah,
pencil. Anyone have a pencil they can?
I do.
Thank you, Kelly. So now, the second step, once we convert that to a fraction, the second step is to set up a proportion, right? 30 out of 100 equals how many out of 20? What we're saying here is that if she had taken 100 shots, she would have made 30 of them. That's what 30% means, 30 out of 100. She didn't take 100 shots, though. She only took 20. So that's why we can set up a proportion to solve this, saying 30 out of 100 is equal to what out of 20? We've done this before. We've solved proportions before. Think all the way back to CO6. What do? Madeline? Divide. Divide by what? 5. Okay? 100 divided by 5 is how we get to 20. 30 divided by 5 is going to give us n. Okay? And what is 30 divided by 5?
6.
6. So n equals 6. She made 6 shots. Okay? How do we feel about that one? Sawyer?
I can say that.
Not right now. Okay? We're learning the good stuff here. This is the meat and potatoes of the lesson here. Right? Questions on that one? Okay. Following this process, give the next one a try for the fractions. All right? This test one here. The test was worth 30 points. She got a 90%. How many did she get correct? So first step, convert 90% to a fraction. Then set up a proportion. Okay, follow the same steps that we did here. See if you can find 90% of 30. First step, 90%, write that as a fraction, just like we did in the first one, okay? And then use that fraction to set up the proportion. So 90%, you should have that as 90 over 100. Right? 90 out of 100. And then your proportion is going to look like this. 90 out of 100 is equal to how many out of 30, right? Because 90% means that if there had been 100 questions, you'd have gotten 90 correct. There weren't 100 questions. There were only 30 questions. But a proportion can help us figure out what n is. And you may have noticed here that there's nothing you can really divide 100 by to get 30. You do have some options. Give me one option that someone may have done to solve this proportion, since you can't divide evenly to get from 100 to 30. And Mena, what did you do?
I divided 30 by 5. Wait.
So dividing 30 by 5, you have to also divide the n by 5, which not knowing what n is, that's a little bit problematic.
Never mind.
Layla, you had your hand up too? What'd you do? Okay, so the reason why we divided by 5 here was because that's how we got from 100 to 20. It's not always going to be divided by 5. It kind of depends on the numbers you have. How do you get from 100 to 20 divided by 5? That's why we divided by 5, right? Here, we can't really divide by anything to get from 100 to 30. So we have to use another way. Okay, Callie, what did you
You
do?
could subtract by 70.
You cannot solve proportions with addition or subtraction. You can only use multiplication or division. Okay, so subtracting by 70 is not going to work either. Cannot use subtraction. Are we stumped? Anybody? I heard that someone say the correct answer over here. So someone did something to get it right. Am I not
I
try
got
again?
27. but
How did you get 20?
I don't know what I did. I can't read it.
Okay. Okay. So 27 is the correct answer here. So if you got 27, you got the right answer. I want to know how you did it to help others. Anybody willing to share? Okay. So solving a proportion, we can use what's called scale factor. That's why we divide by 5 up there, because the scale factor to get from 100 to 20 is divided by 5. We don't have that here. So what is another method to solve a proportion? You've heard this before. Starts with a C. Ends in Ross products. Cross products, very good. Okay? Cross products means we multiply 90 by 30, right? 90 times 30 and divide by 100. And if you multiply 90 by 30 and divide by 100, guess what you get?
27.
27. That's one option. Okay? Another option is to take this 90 over 100, and what does 90 over 100 reduce to be? What does 90 over 100 reduce to be? 9/10. Okay? 9/10. And if we rewrite this proportion to be 9 over 10 equals n over 30, can we now use scale factor? Can you see how we can get 27 from this? By using scale? How? Now, multiply by 3, right? We can get from 10 to 30 by multiplying by 3. We can then do the same thing to our 9 up top, and 9 times 3, n equals 27 either way. Okay? So if you get in that situation where you can't divide evenly from the start, either look to simplify, 90 100ths becomes 9/10. Now we can get to 30 using a scale factor, or cross products works every single time. It's a fail-proof method. There are no exceptions. It will always work. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I don't know what I pressed, but now anytime I try to divide something, it goes to 100, and I think I pressed a button while trying to solve.
Is there a little K on your
Yeah.
display? Yeah. That K stands for kill. You kill the calculator when you press the K. So to undo the K, we are going to press it again. There you go. No K.
I'm trying to move to 100.
Yeah, it's not very good. Okay, just in the short time that we've got left, any questions on this fraction method? Sorry? Not right now. Hold on. Okay. All right. I want you to practice the fraction method on one of the ones below. Let's do 60% of 40. I want you to practice that fraction method. Remember, first, you want to rewrite that 60% as a fraction, okay? And then use that fraction to set up a proportion. Maybe you can use scale factor. If you can't, either cross products or simplify one of the fractions to be able to use scale factor from there. Practice this method, showing your work. So you can read it, right? So you can read it. Did you do it? Once you do it, then you can go, did I? Right. You do something for me, and then I'll do something for you. Don't do any of the other three, just this first one. This first one. So, 60% as a fraction, 60 over 100. That's where we start. Okay? Then using that fraction, 60 over 100, we are writing a proportion. 60 over 100, we want to know how many that is out of 40. Okay? And is there a good scale factor to take it from 100 to 40? No. So Layla, what'd you do? Cross products, sure, works every time. 60 times 40 divided by 100. Layla, what'd you get? 24. 24 is the correct answer. Okay. Anyone do anything different? Did you go the simplifying route? If you did, what does 60, 100 simplify to be? What could we rewrite that as? You have a couple options here. 3/5. If you go all the way down to the simplest form, 3/5 equals n over 40. You're multiplying by 8 now, right? 3 times 8 is 24. Maybe you went down to 6/10 only. 6/10 equals n over 40. Multiply 10 by 4 to get to 40. 6 times 4 is 24 as well. Maybe you only cut it in not quite half. Maybe you divided by 5 and got 12 20ths. 20 times 2, 40. 12 times 2, 24. There's so many different ways to do this, okay? And as long as you kind of latch onto one of them, and maybe cross products is like your thing, so it works every single time, so be it, okay? So be it. That's awesome. All right. No homework for tomorrow. We are going to continue on with other methods. So, get your con done. That's how you math.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.